Alrighty, boys, here we go. It's Wednesday. What the heck is KOS? I feel like I should know that. What up, Garrett? Welcome to this chat. Welcome to the stream. Round of applause from the live studio audience for Garrett. It is Wednesday. It is, in fact, the majority of the day is done. We're actually exactly at the midpoint of your work week. It's lunchtime here in West Coast. So yeah, thanks for tuning in. Let's get the show rocking. No, it's watching like the FOMC meeting with Jerome Powell, and they're talking about raising the interest rate and not raising the interest rate. Oh, I like it. Keep on stacking. I like it. I like all the interest rate stuff going on. It's basically a bunch of people in a room that are not elected, that are not part of the government even though they're called the Fed. It's a private organization that determines what the interest rate should be based on how much or how little they want to make you hurt. Right? They claim to be controlling inflation by adjusting the interest rate and making it more expensive for you to borrow money, for businesses to borrow money, for people to borrow money. They want the unemployment to go up so people have less money to spend because they think that, or what they're telling you is that you're at fault for inflation. Okay? That you're being too productive, that you're spending too much of that money that you're making. And they don't want you to do that. They want you to believe that you are the reason for inflation. But the reality is that they ignore that money printer in the back room that's constantly buzzing, constantly spitting out new dollars. And yeah, they might have slowed down the rate of loan issuance for people like you and I, but they're still issuing loans and creating money that way to businesses that seem to have a positive cash flow, even though the cash flow some of these businesses are posting might not be as good as they think, because it's really just a reflection of the money supply increasing that shows like they might be. Anyway, they're still not beating inflation. So you have a bunch of companies that are only in existence because they're able to get cheap loans, right? Cheap loans that are no longer available to regular people because the interest rate is just too crazy high, right? So they want you to believe that it's your fault that the interest rate is going up, and it has nothing to do with the way they print money and the way they issue debt. Okay, so that's why we're sitting here saving in Bitcoin, and that's why we put the thumbnail up there of the popcorn, because once you get into Bitcoin, you can just hang out, stack and chill, right? You don't have to worry about the shenanigans anymore. I mean, you still got to work in that system. You still got to make money in that system. You still got to pay in that system for a lot of the things you do, but you don't have to hold that money long term anymore. Yeah, there's a better way to store that value. All right, let's jump into the first segment of the show, which we like to call the SATS strength. There we go. All right. So the price of Bitcoin is moving up and down, along with the price of a lot of other things, because of the FOMC meeting, right? So all of the movement you saw this morning was based on just whatever that guy might say. Okay. So don't let it distract you. Don't let it phase you, because all these little movements are just ways for them to try to scare you out of Bitcoin. Okay, so the price of Bitcoin today is $42,814, and you can buy 2,336 Satoshis for a single dollar. What does that mean? It means that just like a dollar has 100 cents, a Bitcoin has 100 million Satoshis. Satoshis are fractions of Bitcoin. They're the exact same thing as Bitcoin. It's just the smallest denomination of a Bitcoin. Okay, just like you can have a penny, a nickel, a dime, a quarter. That's still US dollars. But if you accumulate enough of them, you have a whole dollar or more, right? So that's what you have for the SATS strength. And let's say you're walking down the street minding your own business. You look down, you see a penny, you pick it up, and all the day you'll have 23 Satoshis today. If you invest a penny into Bitcoin, you'll have 23 Satoshis. And yep, Still pretty good deal, I think. Still pretty good deal. Anything under 70,000, I think, is a good deal. Anything under 100,000 is a good deal. Keep stacking all that you can. What up, Paul? What up, Leonard? Round of applause from the live studio audience for Paul and Leonard. Keep stacking and keep up the Bitcoin only show. That's right. Only Bitcoin. We don't poop coin here. We don't altcoin here. It's just straight up Bitcoin only. Okay? And why Bitcoin only? Let me tell you why Bitcoin only during why we stack. We do Bitcoin only because it's the only coin that cannot be altered as far as the protocol, as far as the supply. Any other coin you're thinking of investing in, you might think to yourself, oh man, Bitcoin is at 42,000. I only have $1,000 to invest, and if I buy $1,000 worth of Bitcoin, I'm gonna have 0.0001 or something like that Bitcoin, right? And it sounds like it's nothing. It sounds like it's not enough. And you're gonna see these other coins, and they're gonna be like, okay, for $1, you can have 100 of these X coins or whatever poop coin they're trying to push on you, and you're gonna have unit bias. And you're gonna say, wow, let's see, so I can buy 0.0001 Bitcoin for X amount of money, or I can take the same amount of money and have 1 million coins of this other thing. It sounds like a better value to me because this other coin, I want to get more of those coins. And you don't know the difference between Bitcoin and those other coins, right? Well, let me tell you the difference between Bitcoin and those other coins. There's Bitcoin and there's everything else. And everything else is trash. Everything else is crap. Everything else is poop coins, okay? Because they can adjust the money supply on you at any point. Those coins could get removed or deleted or unlisted, and then you're stuck with a coin that's worth nothing, right? Those coins have a fraction of the users that Bitcoin does, right? Most of those are centralized, so that means that a person, a group of people, a board, a foundation, organization, some group of people or a person have full control over that protocol, and they're able to tweak it. And when they're able to tweak it, they can change how many of those coins are in existence. They can take your coins. They can give you coins. They can change the way the coins work. So in essence, when they're able to change things, even if they don't intend to, like for example, Ethereum, they might not intend to change the code and promise you not to change the code, but they've changed it in the past for different things, right? They took it from proof of work to proof of stake. And they've changed it many times before that too. And even if they decide that they will no longer change it and promise you to never change it again, the rules of Ethereum, for example, the fact that they're able to puts you at risk of the government taking over that coin and shutting it down, changing the supply, confiscating your coins, right? As long as there's an ability to be able to manipulate these poop coins, these other coins, then you're at risk, and it's not a good investment, right? Where Bitcoin stands apart far and away is that it is 100% decentralized, and there is no Bitcoin CEO, there is no Bitcoin treasurer, there's no Bitcoin secretary, there's no Bitcoin tech support. Okay, all of Bitcoin works on computers. It's computer instructions, you can call them code, computer code that runs on nodes all over the internet and all over the world. And you can go in and audit that code to see what it's doing and trust that it's not doing anything crazy, because you can actually go and verify the code and see what it's doing, right? And so since nobody can change it, and since we don't need to rely or trust on anybody to implement the rules of that code, because the computers are going to do it regardless of who they're doing it for, It doesn't matter how much Bitcoin you're holding. The rules are the rules. And just because you have more Bitcoin doesn't mean you get to go change the rules. Like if you have more dollars, you can go buy more politicians to put forth the laws and tweak the rules of the land to benefit you and keep you wealthy while at the same time stealing wealth from the poor. Well, Bitcoin is different. It's monetary policy written in code, executed by computers that cannot be corrupted like people can, that won't favor their they won't favor their friends and associates and supporters as far as like political supporters go, right? So it's the fairest money you could have. Okay, it's rules without rulers. That's a great saying by I think it's Anthony Antonopoulos. A really cool Bitcoiner back in the day, but he kind of started going into poop coins a little bit towards later on in his career. But he still has some good stuff. His original stuff is pretty good. Mr. Android in the house. Let's go. Round of applause for Mr. Android. What up, Paul? Welcome. Yeah, so that's why we stack. We're keeping it basic, keeping it simple. Okay. Today, if you have any questions, go ahead and put them in the chat. Let's jump into the next segment of the show, which we like to call the Stack Recap, because we don't only talk about stacking Bitcoin, we stack it every single day here on the Stack SATS show. We stack SATS. What up? I see. Hang on a second. I see J-Dub in the house. What up, J-Dub? Round of applause from the live studio audience for J-Dub. What up, plebs? I made it. Welcome, J-Dub. Welcome. Okay, so our stack. Oh, look at that. It's right on the brink. 0.04% gains. It's all right. Doesn't matter. It just means we're getting cheap sats. Okay. Today, the price of Bitcoin is below our average buy price of $23,203. So today we're gonna buy $40 worth of Bitcoin during today's purchase, because when the sats are cheap, when Bitcoin dips, it's a gift. Does that rhyme? Dips are gifts. Dips are gifts, baby. Dips are gifts. So today, on the last day of January, it looks like so far we're ending it on a positive, even if it is a sliver of positivity. It's actually the markets are a little bit down right now, so it might be a good time to do this double buy. So let's just get this buy done, and we'll talk about it while it's pumping back up after we do this buy. Because usually when we buy, it pumps. Here we go. Let me get this screen set up. All right. That said, there's only one thing left to do. It's time to stack some sats. All right. Here we go. As you guys know, I like to stack over on Swan Bitcoin. If you guys are not set up for stacking yet, go check out stacksatshow.com/swan. You'll get $10 worth of Bitcoin after you make your first deposit, I think, or your first purchase. So here we go. We're changing that up to $40. Coming over here to get the preview. Screenshotting this for the records, for the future. I'm gonna move this over. All right, we're almost ready. Today, episode 151 of the Stack Sats Show. We're stacking another $40 worth of Bitcoin. Here we go. Drum roll, please. All right, our order is being executed. We're gonna drum roll until the order goes through. Okay, we're gonna drum roll until the order goes to the next screen. Let's go. Let's go. Well, two drum rolls. Here we go. Our drummer, our band drummer is weak. He needs to work on the drum rolls. Build up some endurance. Oh, there it is. All right, so we've stacked some sats. And just like that, and just like the thumbnail says, we stack and we chill. Don't let the market swinging back and forth mess with you. Okay? They're trying to get you to sell your sats. so they can take them and hold on to them forever. When it's you that should be holding on to them forever. Okay, here we go. We got in at 42,874. All right, we got $40 worth, and the yield is 0.000923363 Bitcoin, and that's a good amount of satoshis right there. Bam, 92,000 satoshis to add to the bag, and that puts us in 0.001. Oh, minus 0.16%, but it's okay. Because I can't remember why I put this number here. I'm just gonna delete it. Yeah, I'm just gonna delete it. I can't remember. Anyway, what the most important number on this sheet is this one. Is that your Satoshi number goes up. Your SAT counts continue to go up, little by little. Yeah, we're minus 0.16%. We'll see if the price of Bitcoin comes back up later today, and we end in a positive. I'm gonna post it towards the end of the day today on our Discord server, just so we have a screenshot of it. If we ended 2024 in the positive or the negative, but for the overall for the show, we are in the positive. Okay, let's go and update that sheet as well. All the way down here. We are just like that. We are in the positive. Since the beginning of the show, we're up about 24%, which means in order for us to accumulate 13.25 million satoshis today, it would cost us $5,656, and we've only paid $4,564. So yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Same thing here. Looks like we are past the 2.25 million mark Satoshi. 2.25 million Satoshis on our 2024 chart, which is good. Excuse me about that. Whoa, hello. Ho. So yeah, it's pretty wild. Okay, so are there any questions from you guys, especially technical questions that we can go over? So anything about to do with moving your coins, custody, setting up your wallet, that kind of stuff. We should probably take care of that stuff. The sooner the better, because I know we didn't get the pump we were expecting from the ETFs yet. But when we do get it, it's super important that your coins, that your Satoshis are off of your exchange and in your custody, right? Because until you pull them off the exchange and put them in your own self-custody, you can't really chill. You gotta take those coins off the exchange, because that forces the exchange to actually go and, if they haven't already, buy the Bitcoin they're supposed to buy on your behalf and transfer it over to you. Once it's transferred over to you, to your wallet that you have the keys for, that you control, you'll be able to see that transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain. And when you can see that transaction on the Bitcoin blockchain, that means it's real. That means it actually happened. That means it's confirmed, it's verified, and you don't have to trust the exchange or anybody else to tell you that your Bitcoin is safe with them. Okay, let's talk a little bit about the future while we watch this block get full. While we watch this next block. Let's see. Okay, if you're new to Bitcoin, this is a cool little graphical representation of Bitcoin. So down here you have the memory pool. You have all these transactions hoping to get on the next block. And what does it mean to get on the next block? It means the next block gets written to the blockchain every 10 minutes. If your transaction makes it into the block, you get your transaction confirmed, and everybody on the Bitcoin network agrees that your coin was either received or sent to whomever you sent it to or whomever you got it from. Okay, once that happens, it's pretty much, it's confirmed, right? So let's look at some of these transactions that are happening, okay? And it's a good time to kind of revisit and illustrate how Bitcoin works. So that block just went. So we have a brand new block coming in. Look at all those transactions jump into the next block, and it kind of almost cleared out the memory pool, right? So let's see. Here's how it happens. Here's how it works. The block each time has each 10-minute block has a limited amount of space that you can write to the Bitcoin network. It's only every 10 minutes. Okay. If that space gets full, you can bid up the price that you're willing to pay, the fee that you're willing to pay, to have passage on that next block. Think of this block as like a train, and it's got only so many train carts and only so many seats, and each seat or each train cart, each spot on the train is worth X amount, right? For example, right now the fees are about 24 SATS per V byte. So depending on how much information you need to write to the block, that's how many V bytes you'll have to pay for. Okay. So for example, let's go to this one. Okay. This is a transaction that's hoping to get. Let's go to this one that's already on the next block. It's got 100 inputs, 100 input addresses and 2 output addresses. And man, look at that fee. That fee is gonna be 800,000 SATS in fees. And you might be asking to yourself, wow, they're moving $104 million worth of value, right? They're moving 2,423 Bitcoin to all but they have a bunch of addresses coming into it. Okay. So they're not paying a percentage of the amount of money they're moving. They're paying for all those 100 inputs and the 2 outputs plus more information to get written to the block. And that block just went. They're running kind of fast actually today. That train just left the station. Okay. So remember, you're paying, this guy had 100 inputs and he paid almost 800,000 in SATS for the fees to transfer that much money, $104 million. Okay. But this one only has 4 inputs and it's moving $8.64 million. But look at his fees, they're only 16,000 SATS because he's not writing that many things to the block. He's only writing 4 input addresses, 3 output addresses, and then how much, and then whatever data it takes to specify how much Bitcoin is actually moving, right? I think most of the data in these blocks is the addresses, right? And if you add more addresses, you have more inputs. That means it takes more space on the block. That means that you need to pay more for that same space if you want your transaction to happen. If you want your transaction to happen like immediately, right? Then the average price currently is about 20. Oh, it's about evened out, 24. So if you want your transaction to get priority and make sure it happens in the next block, you can say, all right, I'm willing to pay 30 SATS per V byte or 50 SATS per V byte, right? And give your transaction priority, right? And those fees that you're paying here, that's what the miners get for mining your block. So the miners are incentivized to do the transactions that have the highest SATS per V byte fee, because it means that they make more money, right? All right, or more. They make more SATS. So yeah, let's look at some other transactions. Just for example, there's maybe this medium sized one. This one it's got 1 input, but it's got 10 outputs. That's 23,000 SATS to move $286,000, right? I mean, it's a lot of outputs, so the fees are understandable, but like you're paying this guy's paying a lot more to move $286,000. He's paying about 23,000 SATS, 24,000 SATS. And the other guy that was moving $1.8 million, since he only had like 4 inputs and 2 outputs, he was paying about 19,000 SATS, even though he's moving a whole lot more money, right? Or a whole lot more value. Okay, it's a difficult thing to understand, right? It's a difficult thing to grasp, especially if you're used to the regular banking system where they charge you a percentage of what you're moving, right? Imagine if you're moving like $1 million and they charge you a percentage of that. That sucks, right? Here, you're only paying for the space for your transaction to be on the next block. Okay, so look at all these transactions waiting. right? So the more and more transactions we have over here waiting to get on, the higher and higher the fees will go, because they'll start to compete with each other to get on the train cart, on the next available train cart, right? So it's pretty cool. All right, let's look at these one of these small transactions. Like this one is okay. This one's like one output, one input. He's moving 0.0125, so he's moving like 12 cents, almost. He's moving like 12 cents, and he's paying 3,240 satoshis. That's kind of idiotic. You think about it. It's probably some guy trying to mint an ordinal or something stupid like that. So you're paying about you're paying about $1.20 to move 12 cents worth of value, right? To move 294 satoshis, you're paying 3,240 satoshis, because that's how much it costs to write that transaction to the block, right? So don't do things like that. How about this one? 100 inputs. Okay, let's do one that's got a big value. Okay, so that guy over here that's paying 3,240 sats. This guy's moving $11.6 million worth of value, and he's only paying 2,000 sats more. He's paying about $2 to move $11.6 million worth of value, right? And now you start to see the real significance of how Bitcoin just is gonna break things once it really gets started, you know? Because like how can the banking system compete with that? Yeah, they can't, right? They're all about the fees, right? So anyway, let's jump into real quick Q&A before I go. And if you have any questions, guys, put it in the chat. It's pretty funny to see all those transactions go through. And yeah, do yourself if you want to watch it. I'll put the link in the chat if you guys go check that out. Let's see. I think it's called bitfeed.live. There's a lot of different tools like this that'll do that for you. It's really cool. It's really cool. But yeah, these it's a really difficult, not difficult, but it's a strange concept to think of it that way, right? You're basically paying for the Bitcoin network to write your transaction to the ledger, right? So the distributed ledger that all the nodes have a copy of, and they all audit each other's ledgers every 10 minutes. Okay? Nothing that's this big in the financial industry audits every single transaction to ever happen on the history of that ledger every 10 minutes, right? Even like our banking system, it's all like there's a bunch of built-in delays between final settlement, right? This is final settlement in 10 minutes, right? Final settlement in about 10 minutes. If your transaction gets through and it gets confirmed on the next block and the block is confirmed, you have final settlement, which is pretty wild, right? But if you think about it in the traditional system, even if you look at when you deposit money into your exchange, it takes the exchange about 5, 7, or even 10 days to have final settlement with your bank and allow you to withdraw that money you deposited into the exchange, right? That's super slow, right? Maybe some of that is padding they put in there, but let's just say it takes 3 days for final settlement, right? Bitcoin takes 10 minutes for final settlement. That's freaking awesome, right? So, and once that settlement goes through, once it is actually final, you can't go back and reverse any transaction in Bitcoin. That's why you have to be super careful. But if somebody pays you in Bitcoin, you can be confident that they won't be able to reverse that transaction, right? Whereas if in a bank, even if they have final settlement, they can come back and like claw it back and say, you know what, never mind, this didn't go through or whatever, we're gonna take it back, right? So there's no delays there in your funds being verified and confirmed that you actually have them, right? Of course, you won't be able to spend anything you don't have. There's no credit system here, but the thing is, the way we do it is good. It's good. All right. Oh, everything just cracked. Hope you guys having a good day. It is Wednesday. It's the middle of the week. It's all downhill from here. Hopefully not for Bitcoin. Bitcoin dropped a little bit more, and it's if you're gonna stack, now is a good time to stack, because remember, dips are gifts. Dips are gifts. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for another episode of the StackSats Show. Dips are gifts, and if you ain't stacking, you're slacking. See you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.